Great seeing you back for Devos. And we've been looking at don't look back. Don't turn back. However you want to word it here. Now, again, I put this up every week. Life is good. And I want you to claim that. Because when people keep looking back, they're not happy with the life that they're in. Listen, you are where you are because God has placed you there. He has permitted you to be there for whatever reason it may be. So what I'm going to look at today is this. Don't look back when you're depressed. Now, I know some of you want to say, well, I'm never depressed. Okay, well, let's call it discouraged. Some of you are depressed, some of you are just discouraged. But it's easy to fall into that rut. Now, look with me, Ecclesiastes 7, verse 10. And here we are. We see the children of Israel. They are in Babylon as slaves. And look what they say. He says, say not. This is what the Bible says. Say not. Why were the former days better than these? Let me just stop right there. Isn't it true? People are always talking about the good old days. Okay, those days weren't so good. The only time that life might possibly be really, really great for most people is when they're children. And some of us have proven that's not always true. Okay, so, but maybe it is back in for you, or maybe you first get married and life's moving along and things are so exciting. But let me tell you, that's on the low end of life, just so you know that. Okay, so we deal with a lot of hard, depressing situations. And it's just the world in which we live in. Look at Psalms 137, verse 1 and 2. Again, they're in Babylon. It says, by the waters of Babylon, there we sat down and wept when we remembered Zion. And the willows there, we hung up our lyres, or we hung up our instruments, our harps. We took our harps. We no longer play our harps, our instruments. We hang them on the willow tree. These willow trees is where people go to cry. Let me tell you, this is repulsive. I mean that. There is a time to mourn, isn't there? There's a time to cry. There's a time to pour your heart out. But you can't live there. This should be the small end of life. But some people, they make their residence there. That is very, very sad. When you think about quitting, remember why you started. Okay, so if you're a man of God, a woman of God, you want to be a man or woman after God's own heart, then when we're making plans, we seek God and He shows us what we're supposed to do. Okay, well then finish it. Stay there. Don't drop out. You have to remind yourself, why did I start this? Why am I here? What is the purpose? Whatever that thing is right now that you're wanting to quit. We think that it's not God's will for us to have a rough time. Oysters, they get a little bit of sand inside their shell. It irritates them. It gets really uncomfortable. And they have to go through all this process trying to get the sand out. Guess what? They never get the sand out. But they make a beautiful pearl. The Bible calls it the pearl of great price. How does the pearl of great price come? Through hardship, being uncomfortable, and being irritated. That's all of us that serve God. That's what we're dealing with. Now, if people think this is easy streak, it's not. Listen, hard times drive us to God. Ease will drive us to the devil. Now, I know some of you think, well, it's God's will that my life would be easy. And when things are easy, I'll be closer to God. People think I'm going to take it easy because it will stretch my life out. There's no truth to that. I hate to rain on your parade. But there was an article entitled, Science Looks at Your Job. And John Gibson did a study on this, and they found out this. Perseverance and persistence makes a person live longer. Did you know that? People who have the most stress live the longest. You say, oh, it's going to give them a heart attack. That's not true. Look here, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 8. We are afflicted in every way, but we're not crushed. We're perplexed, but not driven to despair. I like that. You will receive your blessing after you have survived all your disappointments. You see that? Okay, so survive. Tell God, I'm hanging in there, and I'm not turning back.